So you want to learn how you can pivot in your copywriting business? Stay tuned. What's going on? This is Michelle Farley of MichelleFarleyWrites.com, and this is Copy Magnet TV. Each Thursday, I'll bring to you tips, tricks, and hacks all about the art of copywriting and how you can start, grow, and sustain your own copywriting business. You ready to get started? Let's go. So today we're talking about the art of the pivot, especially in your copywriting business. I'm going to give you 5 principles that I've used to help me navigate through this new normal. Let's get started. All right, so the pivot. We all know these last couple of months have been absolutely bananas, from hundreds of thousands of people in the United States dying from the coronavirus to over millions worldwide from the coronavirus. And to say that it has been devastating would be an understatement. It's like beyond devastating. And in that time, of course, a lot of other things have had a domino effect, and a lot of that is business. I can say for me that in my copywriting business, I definitely lost a lot of my retainer clients because they had to put that resources someplace else. I wasn't shocked. I was disappointed, but I understood, and so I didn't want to operate out of like selfishness or my own need. So I really took this time of like not having as many clients to figure out where there was need and how can I still operate a successful business in this new normal. I took a couple of weeks just to get used to this new normal, especially being at home with my husband and my toddler and coexisting, doing all those things together too. So I took some time off for that and then really started to gather up information about what it is that I enjoy, what is it that my business does really well in, where is there a hole or a gap in someone else's business that I can be of assistance to. But before I got to that, I had to come up with these 5 principles that I'm going to share with you right now. Number 1 was problem solving. I woke up one morning and I realized that, business as I had known it was totally different. While copywriting, I've always considered copywriting to be a form of problem solving for a company, especially when it came to like telling their brand story, helping them with their headlines, their landing pages, things like that. The objective is always to solve a problem or to solve a need, even if the customer doesn't realize that they have it, right? And so I use that same principle to think about what it is that I can solve a problem for someone right now. So whether that's, their employees, whether the way they do service, how can I be of assistance to make them use the words that work, that resonates with their clientele. I did not begin to focus solely on those key areas that I knew that I would be beneficial for other businesses. So the second thing I thought about, transferable skills, right? So I said this in a previous video that writers are always needed, right? There's always a need for a writer, especially a really great writer. So I knew I had those skills, but I also had to dig a little deeper and think about transferable skills. And I looked back through my background of things that I've done, right? So I worked in education for a number of years. I've taught English composition for high school students, for college students. I've taught remedial English classes. And so I knew that that could be something that I could possibly use for different organizations, nonprofits, things like that. So I started to put some feelers about that. And another transferable skill that I recognized was that I do have a background in film production. And while I don't do it as much, I still hone in on my skills. And I always try to learn the latest editing tip or some type of technique, even though I'm not like fully into it, that I could be aware of it. So I began to just send out some feelers about that for companies or businesses that were still looking to have a social media presence, that were looking for 15-second promos or 30-second ads. So I offer my service that way. And because I also have a background in screenwriting, I was able to create the script, make the video, edit the video, and wrap that all into one package. And that has proven to be very beneficial. And I have steady clientele coming in. So the third principle I want to share with you is to learn how to ride the wave of a pivot. And that sounds crazy, but it is so necessary. Sometimes you can time things out right? If you're at work, you're at your job and you feel like some things things are happening and they're just not right in your gut, you may start looking for a new job or switching careers, right? And you still have time to look for a job and have a job. When the coronavirus epidemic happened, a lot of people couldn't pivot right away. Some people were just kind of like shocked, and they couldn't really function the way they normally have. And so, it took a while. I would say that once I understood the problems that I could still solve, and once I understood the skill sets that I still brought to the table, I was able to embrace the pivot. And because the pivot changes like every day, right? And you have to be ready to, bob and move and weave and all those different things to get to this next point where you don't even know where the next point is going to be at, but you're just trusting and believing that you are trained for this, you have the skill set for this, and whatever's on the other side is going to be a good thing. So ride the wave of the pivot. You fall off, get back on. If it gets a little messy, that's okay. But ride the wave. Okay, so right after I decided to ride the wave of the pivot, the fourth principle that I understood was like defining my expectation. What do I want to see on the outcome of this? Like, what do I want to see at the end of this pandemic, at the end of all of this? What do I want to see? And yes, like ultimately, I want to see a vaccine and a cure and all that for the pandemic, but what do I want to see as the end result for my business going through this, right? So there's definitely going to be some growing pains about what works, what doesn't work, what services you used to offer that maybe aren't fitting into the vision anymore. This is a great time to define your vision of what you want. If you haven't even started yet within your copywriting business, this is a great time to define like, what do you want to do? Who do you want to serve? And what problems are you going to solve? This is absolutely the best time to start your business. And so the fifth principle is accept the no, expect a yes. And what I mean by that is that you definitely will probably hear no's from businesses. In fact, they had to make budget cuts, they had to lay off people aren't buying as much, so their profit margins are off. So there's companies, although they would love to have your service or keep you on retainer or keep you doing freelance projects, they may have to pause it for a moment. It's really great to keep those lines of communication open. You also want to make sure that you still stay in contact. So when they are ready to re-up, you're the first person on their mind. They still know that you haven't lost contact with them. And I would also add that even though some companies are saying no, or we can't take you on right now, or we have to pause service, there are definitely going to be some companies that do need copywriters right now too. And so don't let the no's get you down. Just consider it like a not right now, but appreciate the yes, expect the yes, and then you'll begin to see not only your business still growing, but your confidence as well. And so that's it. Those are the 5 principles that I've used in my copywriting business that I plan to use now until the very end of this year to see what works and what doesn't work. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing my video. Again, my name is Michelle Farley. This is Copymatic TV. Until next time, I wish you peace and blessings. Bye.